Hello, everyone. This is a quick review of the forensic report rubric, so what is expected in your final forensics report. This is based on the standard essay rubric that we use throughout all of our English classes. So there are three main categories. There's reading, there's analysis, and there's writing. And there's four potential scores. Well, five really. A 4 is 100%. That means you've gone above and beyond. It's awesome. It's perfect. Nobody could have done better. The 3 is a 90%. That's an A. That means you have hit all the points that you need to hit. Okay, you've done everything that is required of you. A 2 is a 75%. Okay, that's a solid C. That means you're getting there. You've got most of it, but you're missing some elements. A 1 is a 60%. You tried. You've shown that you've got some of the skills that you're getting there with a little more help, a little more work. You can really nail it. Now, it's not on the rubric, but there is a 0, which means you just didn't do it, or what you wrote was so far off base that it doesn't register on the rubric at all. So let's look at the reading. This is how well did you understand the materials you were given? And it needs to be obvious from your report that you understood the case file that you were given. So for a 4, again, this is advanced. To get 100% is going above and beyond. And it's an advance. The response demonstrates thorough comprehension of the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy report. May not be called an autopsy report, but that's the description of how they died, or the report on how they died. The response shows an understanding of the facts of the case and of the most important details and how they interrelate, demonstrating a comprehensive understanding of the crime. The response is free of errors of fact or interpretation with regard to the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy report. The response makes skillful use of evidence, demonstrating a complete understanding of the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy. Okay, so the key words here are like comprehensive. How they interrelate, demonstrating comprehensive understanding of the crime scene. There's no errors. You can't have anything wrong. And skillful use of evidence, okay, and complete understanding. Those are your keywords there. So if we go down to then a 3 in reading, this is proficient. This means you've done everything you need to do. It's an A, okay? Here it demonstrates effective comprehension of the crime scene. You've got it, okay? Witness statements and autopsy report. It shows an understanding of the facts of the case and important details. The response is free of substantive errors of fact and interpretation with regard to the crime scene. Okay, free of substantive errors, meaning there might be 1 or 2 little things that you screwed up, but they're not major. They don't impact your interpretation of events. The response makes appropriate use of the evidence, demonstrating an understanding of the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy report. Okay, now going down to, hold on, a 2, that's partial. It means you're getting there. Demonstrates some, keyword there, some comprehension of the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy report. The response shows an understanding of the facts of the case, but not of important details. So you may get the general idea. You may show you have the general idea of what happened, but you're missing some of the important details. It may contain errors of fact and or interpretation with regards to the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy report. And the response makes limited or haphazard use of the evidence, demonstrating some understanding. Okay. Then a 1, it demonstrates little or no comprehension of the crime scene, witness statements, and autopsy report. It fails to show an understanding of the facts of the case and may include only details without reference to facts or evidence. It may contain numerous errors of fact and or interpretation, and has little or no use of evidence, demonstrating little or no understanding of the crime scene, witness statements, or autopsy reports. Okay, so the analysis column. The advanced, the 4, the 100%, the above and the beyond. This response offers an insightful analysis of the crime scene, witness reports, and autopsy, and demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of the analytical task. Now, don't let that word fool you or scare you. Analytical just means the analysis task that you're being asked to do, which is analyzing the crime scene and the evidence and determining what really happened and then proving it. Okay, so the response offers a thorough, well-considered evaluation of the elements of the crime. The response recognizes alternative interpretations of the evidence, who or how the murder was committed that is different than their version of events. In other words, you want to not only prove that your choice is the valid one, but prove that any other option is wrong. So if you have a crime that could either be a suicide or a murder, and you claim that it's a murder, you want to show how it couldn't possibly be a suicide. So some of your claims and evidence need to be a discussion of why it's not a suicide. And here's the evidence that supports that. Okay, so in order to get a 4, you have to have that. The response contains relevant, sufficient, and strategically chosen support for claims or points made. The response focuses consistently on those features of the crime that are most relevant to the task. Okay, so that's a 4. A 3, proficient. Remember, you've done everything you need to do. The response offers an effective analysis of the crime, witness reports, and autopsy, and demonstrates an understanding of the little analytical task. The response completely evaluates the elements of the crime. You've left nothing out, essentially. The response contains relevant and sufficient support for claims and points made. The response recognizes alternative interpretations of the evidence. This is, again, you pointed out the other side or the other argument and proven it wrong. In order to get a 3 or a 4, you have to recognize alternative theories and prove them wrong. Okay. The response focuses primarily on those features of the crime scene, witness reports, and autopsy that are most relevant to addressing the task. Okay, a partial. This is limited analysis of the crime scene, witness reports, and autopsy, and only partial understanding of the task. The response identifies and attempts to describe the elements of the crime, but merely asserts rather than explains their importance. So you may name off a bunch of evidence, but not how they all fit together to support your version of events. It offers little or no support for the claims or points made. It does not recognize alternative interpretations of the evidence, okay? Who or how the murder was committed that is different than your own, okay? And it may lack a clear focus on those features of the crime scene, witness reports, and autopsy that are most relevant to addressing the task. So you may have, 10 details in there, but more than half of them aren't relevant to the argument that you're making. A 1, get down there, it's inadequate. Offers little or no analysis or ineffective analysis of the crime scene, witness reports, and autopsy, and demonstrates little or no understanding of the analytical task. It identifies without explanation some aspects of the crime, or numerous aspects of the crime, or numerous aspects of the response's analysis are unwarranted based on the crime scene, witness reports, or autopsy. If you remember back to last week when I was talking about things like aliens have invaded, if you're trying to make an argument like that, probably going to fall down here because there's no evidence in any of these crime scenes that aliens have invaded. Okay. The response contains little or no support for claims or points made, or support is largely irrelevant. In other words, just random little things that you've put in there. It may not focus on features of the crime scene, witness reports, and autopsy, and that are relevant to addressing the task. Or it has no discernible argument. It's largely or exclusively a summary. Okay, if you just say this is what happened and you don't offer any evidence, you're going to fall down in the 1. Okay, so our final column here is writing. Advanced, again, above and beyond. The response is cohesive and demonstrates a highly effective use and command of language. The response includes a precise central claim of how the individual died. The response includes a skillful introduction and conclusion. The response demonstrates a deliberate and highly effective progression of ideas, both within paragraphs and throughout the essay. The response has a wide variety in sentence structures. The response demonstrates a consistent use of precise word choice. To get more into this, I would avoid words like nice or good. Be more precise. Pick better descriptors there. The response maintains a formal style and objective tone. Formal style means you are not using slang, you are not using contractions, you are being very formal, as if you are addressing, say, the school board, or in this case, the court. So you want to be very formal. An objective tone means that you're being dispassionate. You're not getting all fired up about, oh, it was such a horrendous crime. You're presenting the facts cleanly, unemotionally, okay? The response shows a strong command of the conventions of standard written English and is free or virtually free of errors. You might have a stray comma or something in there, but there's nothing that makes the reader, myself, or Mr. Crow stop and go, wait, what do they mean? Okay, so a 3. Come on. Proficient. Remember, this is an A. This is a 90%. The response is mostly cohesive and demonstrates effective use and control of language. The response includes a central claim or implicit controlling idea. That's about the crime. The response includes an effective introduction and conclusion. The response demonstrates a clear progression of ideas both within paragraphs and throughout the essay. The response has variety in sentence structures. It demonstrates some precise word choice. It maintains the formal style and objective tone. Okay, keep in mind that in order to get at least a 3, you have to be formal and objective. Okay, it shows a good control of the conventions of standard written English and is free of significant errors that detract from the quality of the writing. So again, there can be errors here, but nothing of truly significance. Okay, 2, a partial, demonstrates little or no cohesion and limited skill in the use and control of language. It may lack a clear central claim or controlling idea, or may deviate from the central claim or idea over the course of the response. So you may wander off topic or wander onto things that maybe aren't relevant to what you're arguing. It may include an ineffective introduction or conclusion. So for a 2, you still need to have that intro and conclusion. The response may demonstrate some progression of ideas within paragraphs, but not throughout the response. So in other words, they don't flow together. The response has limited variety in sentence structures, or they may be repetitive. Then he, next, using the same beginning to each sentence. The response demonstrates general or vague word choice. Word choice may be repetitive. The response may deviate noticeably from a formal style or objective tone. So here is where you start to maybe slip into some slang or some less formal language. Limited control of the conventions of standard written English and contains errors that detract from the quality of writing and may impede understanding. So this is where we start to go, wait, what did it mean? Or we have to reread it a couple times to really understand. Okay, and then a 1. It's inadequate. It demonstrates little or no cohesion and inadequate skill in the use and control of language. It may lack a clear central claim or controlling idea. It lacks a recognizable introduction or conclusion. So again, if you want to get above a 1, you have to have an introduction and a conclusion. If those aren't there, you're going to be down here at a 1. It does not have a discernible progression of ideas. The response lacks variety in sentence structures. Sentence structures may be repetitive. General and vague word choice. Word choice may be poor or inaccurate. May lack formal style and objective tone. And it shows weak control, okay, with numerous errors that undermine the quality of the writing. So there you go. So the last column is the last row is for comments. So underneath each category is a spot where we will write in some information, some explanation. You may also find that we will highlight certain lines that maybe you had a problem with. or cross out certain things that you didn't do. Okay, good luck.